On the night of February 15th, 2020, in the Hollywood Hills of Los Angeles, the life of Dr. Amie Nicole Harwick, a well-known family and sex therapist, came to a violent and tragic end. Her story is not just one of personal tragedy, but also one that shines a light on the dangers of obsession, stalking, and the limitations of protection for victims of intimate partner violence. Tonight, we're going to take a deep dive into the case of Amie Harwick, who she was, what led to her murder, the man responsible, and the legacy she left behind. Who was Amie Harwick? Amie Harwick was born on May 20th, 1981 in Pennsylvania. From the start, she was described as an intelligent, passionate, and deeply empathetic person. Those close to her say she was drawn to helping others from an early age. After finishing school, she pursued higher education with impressive determination. She studied psychology at California Polytechnic University in Pomona, and later went on to earn a master's degree in clinical psychology at Pepperdine University. She didn't stop there. Amie became a licensed marriage and family therapist with a particular focus on sex therapy and relationships. She also authored a book, The New Sex Bible for Women, and often appeared on podcasts, conferences, and interviews to discuss relationships, mental health, and intimacy. Amie became well known in Los Angeles, not only because of her professional career, but also because of her warm and engaging personality. Friends described her as the kind of person who could walk into a room full of strangers and make everyone feel like they belonged. She had a gift for listening, for understanding, and for guiding people through their deepest struggles. Her career was taking off, her reputation was growing, and her future looked bright. But behind the professional success, Amie's personal life was more complicated. Relationships and personal life. In 2018, Amie briefly made headlines when she became engaged to comedian and TV host Drew Carey, best known as the host of The Price is Right. The relationship was loving, but ultimately the two parted ways amicably before marrying. Carey would later describe Amie as a beautiful person who wanted to help people. But years before her engagement to Carey, Amie had been in a relationship with a man named Gareth Pursehouse. Their relationship was toxic and unhealthy, marked by volatility, control, and intimidation. After their breakup, Amie expressed fear of Pursehouse. At various points, she obtained restraining orders against him, citing harassment and stalking behavior. The restraining orders eventually expired, but Amie still confided in friends that she feared what Pursehouse was capable of. For years, their paths did not cross, but everything would change in January of 2020. The reappearance of Gareth Pursehouse. In January 2020, Amie attended a professional event. By coincidence, Gareth Pursehouse was also there. This unexpected encounter unsettled her deeply. Friends later reported that Amie expressed fear after seeing him again. She told people close to her that she was concerned he might try to re-enter her life and that she was worried about what he might do. Pursehouse, meanwhile, seemed unable to move on from their relationship. Just weeks later, he would act on his obsession. The night of February 15th, 2020. It was just after Valentine's Day, the early hours of February 15th, in the Hollywood Hills. Police received a 911 call reporting a woman screaming. When officers arrived at Amie Harwick's home, they found a devastating scene. Amie was lying unresponsive beneath a third-story balcony. She had suffered severe injuries consistent with a fall. She was rushed to the hospital, but tragically, she did not survive. Inside her home, investigators found signs of a violent struggle. There were broken items, forced entry marks, and evidence suggesting that Amie had fought for her life. Further investigation revealed she had also been strangled before the fall. The question was, who would do this? It didn't take long for police to focus on one name, Gareth Pursehouse. Who was Gareth Pursehouse? Gareth Pursehouse was a software engineer, an aspiring comedian, and a man who had once been in a relationship with Amie. But to those who knew the story, he was more than just an ex. He was a man who struggled with rejection, control, and anger. After their breakup, Amie had sought restraining orders against him, describing a pattern of harassment and obsession. According to prosecutors, Pursehouse had not let go of his anger or obsession even years later. When their paths crossed again in January 2020, it seemed to reignite something dangerous inside him. Investigators would later say that on the night of February 15th, Pursehouse went to Amie's home and waited outside, an act known as lying in wait. He then forced his way inside, attacked Amie, and ultimately caused her death. The investigation and arrest. Within hours of Amie's death, suspicion fell squarely on Pursehouse. Detectives learned about their past relationship, the restraining orders, and the fears Amie had expressed to friends. On February 15th, the same day as her death, Pursehouse was arrested. He was charged with murder and first-degree residential burglary. Later, the charge of lying in wait was added, a special circumstance that significantly increased the severity of the case. If convicted under this special circumstance, Pursehouse faced either life without parole or the death penalty. Court proceedings. The legal process was long and drawn out. Delays caused by the COVID-19 pandemic pushed the trial back, but prosecutors remained determined. During the trial, the prosecution argued that this was a clear case of premeditated murder fueled by obsession and revenge. They painted a picture of a man who could not let go, who harbored anger for years, and who finally acted on it in a moment of violence. The defense, meanwhile, struggled to push back against the overwhelming evidence, the history of harassment, the restraining orders, the forced entry, and the physical evidence from the night of the murder. In September 2023, after years of waiting, justice was delivered. Gareth Pursehouse was found guilty of first-degree murder and first-degree burglary with a person present. In December 2023, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the tragic case of Amie Harwick. Her story is a reminder of the dangers of obsession and the importance of listening to and protecting victims of abuse and stalking. If this case moved you, please consider supporting organizations that work to prevent domestic violence and help survivors find safety. Before you go, don't forget to hit like, leave your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe so you never miss another case we cover. Your support helps us keep bringing these important stories to light.